Today I am going to tell you a story about my mom when she was young. It happened in the mid-90s. My mom was only 19 years old at that time. One day, my mom and her friend Xiao Bei planned to go out for a drink to celebrate the birthday of their friend. Before leaving, my mom said she would pick her up at Xiao Bei's house and then go to Thaber to meet her friends. At Xiao Bei's house, Xiao Bei welcomed her very warmly. The two of them went into the house and had a drink first, and then they were ready to go out. But as soon as they were about to leave, they heard a sharp scream in the bathroom. Xiao Bei panicked and ran upstairs. She wanted to see what happened. When they got upstairs, Xiao Bei also screamed. My mom panicked and ran upstairs. She wanted to see what happened. She went to the bathroom first. She was not only not scared, but also attracted by the scene in front of her. She saw a blue pair of shoes moving by itself. Later, she found out that Xiao Bei's mother had found something wrong with the pair of shoes. She was very scared. But my mom was not afraid at all. She thought it was interesting. But Xiao Bei and her mother were very scared. Within a few months, Xiao Bei and her mother moved away. But my mom was like possessed. She kept thinking about it. After all, this was the first time she saw a supernatural phenomenon with her own eyes. And no matter how the other people there moved the pair of shoes, they didn't even move the rope or anything else by themselves. Isn't it strange? Although this story may not sound so scary, it does make people suspicious. Is there really a ghost in this world? Maybe some souls are never meant to scare people. They are just stubbornly reminding the world that I existed. That night, it was dark and raining. I saw someone standing in front of my door, but the doorbell didn't ring. They were just standing there. I peeked through the window and saw about 6 men playing rock, paper, scissors in front of my door. The front door was completely wet by the rain. They were all wearing umbrellas. Some people were holding seasoning bottles in their hands. I was the only one living at the time. My heart was burning. Suddenly, a stranger shouted, "Open the door. No matter who you are, you will be eaten by us tonight." I was so scared that I shivered. Then I heard them whisper to each other, "Think about it. Are we roasting or frying? Why don't we eat the main dish today?" But after a discussion, they just left like that. A few days later, it was another rainy night. Those people appeared in front of my door again. They were still holding utensils and seasonings like before. They kept frying in order to find a way to eat. One of them found me standing by the window upstairs. I was so excited. You know what? I was almost hit by lightning today. But it also gave me inspiration. We decided to have barbecue tonight, so we were going to roast you. A few people started laughing. I got a little hairy. I called the police and yelled at the people downstairs. "Do you want to stand here and wait for the thunder or the police to catch you?" Then they just left. Speaking of which, I don't know if they were timid or funny. They haven't appeared since then. But not long after that, I heard the news of a woman missing. Soon the police came to me to ask about those guys who used to hang around my house. But I don't remember what they looked like anymore. Because every time they show up, it is a rainy night. The police suspected that those people were related to the missing woman, because the woman also reported to the police before she went missing that there was a suspicious person near her house. The description is very similar to what I encountered. When I thought of this, I suddenly got goosebumps. The surveillance video captured by the police shows that there were indeed 6 people in front of the missing woman's house. The woman opened the door. They rushed into the house with a knife. 2 days later, these guys came out of the house. But the woman was gone. I didn't see the woman at the front door or the back door. The police thoroughly searched the house. They found some terrible things. The bathroom was full of blood. The kitchen counter had fingerprints that didn't belong to the woman. There were also fingerprints on the tableware and the pot. It was obvious that those people had eaten in the kitchen. When they contacted the woman, they disappeared for no reason. The police had no choice but to have that terrible suspicion. After a lot of tracking, those people were finally arrested. They confessed to eating the woman. In fact, more than one woman was eaten by them. After knowing the whole case, I was completely shocked. If I had opened the door that night, I would have had a dinner, too. Some people may not believe the story I am going to tell next, but to be honest, I don't care at all. It may sound a little old-fashioned, but if it really sticks to you, you won't think so. I grew up in this place since I was a kid. And I've never moved. The house I live in now was built by me and my grandfather. I've always been satisfied with this place, and I still live here now. But there are some things that really scare me. The thing that scares me the most must be the pigeon doll when I was a kid. This doll looks very much like a friend of mine. Let us call him Uncle Lee. He is 6 inches and 4 inches tall, and his body is as strong as a tank. But everyone who knows him knows that he is very kind. He always likes to dress like a truck driver. In fact, he does construction work. If I remember correctly, this is one of the reasons why this doll scares me so much. The details of this doll from the hat to the face are exactly the same as Uncle Lee's. Now that I think about it, it's a little scary. But I was only 3 or 4 years old at that time. Maybe I just remembered it wrong. This doll itself is nothing special. It's just an ordinary plush toy. But I always thought this doll was custom made because it was so much like Uncle Lee. In my memory, that doll seemed to only exist for a few months. I can only say it has been a few months. At first, this doll was just like my other toys. It was my good friend. I would talk to it and play games. But then things changed. One night, I had a nightmare. I dreamed of the old house we lived in. At that time, Grandpa always slept on the big sofa in our only bedroom. Mom and Grandma shared a big bed. I slept in the middle of them. My toy box was next to Mom's bed. Because I was small, I couldn't see the toy box lying down. But this time it's different. In the dream, I was always chased by the doll. It's the doll that looks like Uncle Lee. His face is twisted. His friendly smile is gone. The cartoon-like big eyes are gone. Instead, it has a pair of disturbing big eyes and a devil-like smile. It also has sharp teeth. In the dream, I jumped out of the bedroom, but I couldn't get far. The living room became very big. I ran straight to the bedroom and ran halfway. I turned around to see if I was being chased. As a result, the doll appeared. Then I woke up. When I had this dream for the first time, I was really scared. When I woke up, I really jumped out off the bed. My first reaction was to see the toy box. I thought I could see the doll, but it wasn't there. It was sitting on the chair at the corner of the bed. I almost screamed, because I clearly remember that before I went to bed every night, I would puff toy in the toy box and say good night to them. I was so scared. There was a terrible face in front of me in the dream. I lay down and covered my head with a blanket. I firmly believe that as long as I hide in the blanket, the monster can't catch me. At that time, I always sleep with my head covered with a blanket. That's how I feel safe, so I fell asleep again soon. But after that, I always dreamed of that pigeon doll for countless nights. From time to time, the doll would run from the toy box to the chair. But sometimes it would lie next to the toy box. But I don't know why. I still play with this doll. But as time goes by, when I see that doll, I will think of the devil-like face. So I slowly lost my way. In the end, that doll was lost unconsciously. I am not sure if it was thrown away or what, but this is not the most terrible thing. A few years ago, I asked my family, "Do you remember the doll that looks like Lee's shoe?" They all looked at me with strange eyes. Mom said, "What doll?" Grandma said, "I don't remember." Grandpa said, "What are you talking about? We never bought you a doll that looks like Lee's shoe." I was completely confused. Now I just hope to forget that thing completely.